Good afternoon. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. If you're one of my 5 subscribers, then thank you so much indeed for subscribing. Obviously it really means a hell of a lot. I set up this channel and I hoped that maybe, if anyone subscribed I would have been pleased. To have 5 subscribers already and I've just started is amazing. So far what I've done is over Christmas and New Year, I have made a video actually, a short video that explains what I'm doing and trying to do. If you get a chance to have a look, or if you've already seen it, thank you. But what I did is I set up the channel over Christmas. I just had a look at it while I had some time because the yard and business was closed. It's now open again, so obviously I'm really busy running the yard and the business, so I've not had a lot of time, hence a delay. And what I did, I had some shorts and clips that I'd done for Facebook, so I just uploaded those and just filmed a bit of content of a few bits I were doing, making some panels, splitting some logs, and uploaded those. But since then what I've realised is I need to sort of make a proper video. The idea is to do like one a week, get footage through the week of things that I'm doing, and put it into one video. So I've been looking at the video editing software, and this is the first video, so I'm going to call this video week 1, and there should be hopefully a weekly video each week with things that I've done throughout the week. I did make a full video. It took me a week and it was over an hour long, but I made an error on the editing sort of program, CapCut it was I was using. My fault, I made an error and I lost the video and I deleted all the footage, so a full week's work went to waste. So this is a second attempt, so hopefully you'll enjoy this video. The first one was really good, I'm just trying to make another one and not make the same errors. So let's get into the video. We'll start the video with myself processing some fresh cut logs, so I'm splitting some fresh cut logs. I'm now loading some logs into the delivery van for customer's delivery. This customer's having 2 bags, so I've got to make room for a second bag in the back of the van. These are fresh cut, unseasoned logs, and really heavy. This is how Fred unloads a really heavy bag of hardwood logs from the van on his own with an homemade wooden ram. And these logs are fresh, unseasoned, fresh cut, wet hardwood logs, and they're really There we are, out the van and on the customer's drive. Now running a tongue and groove board through the table saw. Okay, what we're doing now is we've got an order for some 6 foot by 5 foot tongue and groove fence panels. Really nice panels these, quite hard work to make, but as you'll see, but really are nice. We've got some materials, ear defenders, screwdriver, screws, nail gun. That's pretty much all we need to assemble them. And we've cut all the wood look to lengths. The first board, starter board, usually is just ripped in half on the table, so it's about half a board look. That'll start the panel, and then what you find then is the end board, the finishing board, is more or less the same size, so it's like half a board at each end, makes it nice and neat. Then we've got the side rails, they're cut to 1.5 metres, 5 foot, that's how high the panel is. 2 of those, one on each side. And we've got all the tongue and groove boards, they're all cut to 1.5 metres. And we've got the back rails, there's 4 of those across the back, horizontal, they're cut to length. And then the finishing end tongue and groove board. And then there's a weather cap as well that goes on the top, you'll see that. So I'll put you in a, hopefully a position where you can get a good view while I make one of these panels. Hopefully you'll not get too bored because it does take a little while. But you can see how it's done. There we go. That looks alright. Okay. As you can see, we have a jig bench which holds all the rails in the correct places and makes the panel and keeps it square. It's also got holes circled out down the higher side to allow you to put the drills through to put the screws in, as you'll see as we make. Yeah, the rail's just kicked up a bit as I've screwed it in, and it's just not flush at the top. It's a bit of a ridge, so I'm just taking the screw back out, just putting it in a fresh hole. And now we're starting with the Arthur board that you saw me rip through the table saw, and this is the side with the tongue on, so it's like flush on one side, and then there's a tongue on the other side. You'll notice that I keep looking at the board, trying to determine something. That's because these are tongue groove V-jointed boards, but they're only V-jointed on one side, so there's a top and and a bottom, a front and a back. The back of them is just flush where they join together, almost there's no gap, where the top finished side has got the little V joining, V groove where it's joined together. So I keep looking at the boards just to make sure that I'm putting them the right way around with the V groove to the top on it. And that board was just bowed and just too much. I couldn't pull it in, get the tongue and groove to cut together properly, and there would be a gap between it. That's why I just have to put it to one side. It is natural wood, you get bent wood. It's just vital that these boards, they're fresh and wet treated analysed boards. It's vital that they're buttered fully in the tongue and groove. Or when they dry out, they will gap. And this is again here, you can see me trying to pull it so it's all in. And we can get a nail, a nail in. Just going to try that bent board one more time, just in case I can get it to work. No, it's definitely too bent, but worth it. Now we're just taking a measurement for top and bottom of these panels just to make sure that we are running in line, because it is wood again, as you know, and it swells and bends, and these run out of line so quickly, and you just carry on. You'll get to the end of the panel and like half the board will be just coming off the panel at the top or the bottom, and they just won't be vertical, they'll be all laid at an angle. This one is already running out of line, so I'm trying to correct it now, or I will correct it before, so we just carry on and it gets out of hand. You can only correct it sometimes very slightly, a bit at a time, because if you gap the boards, pull it apart and don't keep it buttered up, it will again gap when it's dried out on the customer, and there'll be a gap between it. So the only way you can really do it is you take a measurement top and bottom, and then whichever's your longest measurement or your biggest measurement, you have to nail that there, and then just slightly tweak the other end. You can only sometimes do a board at a time, a millimetre or two at a time, across 2 or 3 boards, and just bring it back level and true and all square again, as you'll see me. As you can see, a lot of time and care goes into these panels to make sure that they really are, as good as they can be, if not perfect. They're expensive panels, and customers are paying good money for these, so we believe they should get, the best quality panel that can be for them. just making sure now that it finishes exactly square and equal, so that the end board fits perfect. You know, exact fit for the final half of the board that goes. And there's the final end board going on, which is the other half of the board I cut at the start on the table saw, which has the groove side to it. So the groove side obviously going into the tongue, and then it's completely just smooth and flat on the other side. Now just a weather cap to go on and the panel will be finished. And for just having a moment, sometimes I just forget what I'm doing just for a second or two, because there's that many things running through my mind. I think this is what's happened here. And there we have it. Finished article. 1 6 foot by 5 foot. Fully framed tongue roof fence panel. I'll show you one stood up that I made before. There we are. As I said, really nice panels. I've got 25 of these to make, so I'm going to end the video here and I'm going to crack on and make as many of these as I can now for the rest of this afternoon. So that'll be the end of this first video, week 1 video. Do really hope you enjoyed it. It's not as big as the first video that I lost, but at least hopefully this will be a video to get us going, get started. You know, first video done, and we'll try and do at least a video every week. So there you go.